are back in the studio, built by Becker in the new 239 Uncensored studio. We are so excited to be back. And the reason I am so excited is because of my guest, the first guest on Built by Becker in the new studio, Hannah Vogel. Welcome. And how are you today?
I'm good. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
So happy that you're here. Thank you for coming. It's just, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you. I've gotten to know you over the past, 4 or 5 years now, I feel like.
Yeah, I was thinking about that on my way here. I'm like, how long have we known each other? It's been a while now.
I feel like you've definitely blossomed and grown into your position. In your position, what is it that Hannah Vogel does?
Well, I feel like I wear a lot of hats, but my main gig, it's
your
roofing.
Main hat.
Yeah, my main hat.
Your main
literally.
hat.
Roofing owner.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So a roofing contractor.
Yep.
And how is that going for you?
It's going really well. You know, it's, you're in construction, you know, it's a very interesting, ever-changing industry. So that's like part of the reason I love it so much. Like every day is completely different. But there has been like a lot of changes and regulations and things with the industry and insurance that have like made a lot of changes for us contractors this past year. So it's been interesting. We've had to pivot a bit, but
like in any business, right? Anything that comes that has to do with change or hurdles, obstacles, regulations, we have to adapt, right? And I'm sure you have to do the same thing, you know? So how we go through that, how we address those changes or those hurdles or those new regulations or rules is what makes separates the good ones from the bad ones, you know? And that's really important. Tell me briefly a little bit about, you know, who you are, like where'd you go to school? You have family here. What do you do with your friends? Like give me a little personal information.
Little rundown?
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So I was born in Naples,
Okay.
third generation.
All right.
My grandparents were down here, came here in the 60s. My grandpa was an entrepreneur, so he was in the commercial real estate industry, and he was also an attorney. And then my dad started blueprint companies down here back in the day. So I grew up here until I was about 11, and then they moved us to Montana. So
That's a big change.
Yeah, it was a huge change. Definitely a culture shock.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel like that was a really like influential thing in my life because, you know, you're in Naples, you're kind of in like a bubble a little bit. As much as I love it, like especially as a kid, you don't really know any different, and you just get to see a different way of life out there. So I was really grateful to see like.
Where's your closest neighbor in Wyoming?
Or Montana.
Oh, sorry, Montana.
It was like probably 15 miles away.
15 miles was the closest neighbor.
Yep.
That would be great.
Yeah. We went from living like, and you know, like one of the gated communities out here. And then I was like, you know, we got picked up, moved out there. We had a barn, we had pigs, we had horses. It was just like a total 180.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Wow. I think I read something. Do you travel to Wyoming? Is that did I find that?
Yeah. So my grandparents have a small place in Wyoming, like a little ranch. So that's where you got the Wyoming thing,
but you moved to Montana. So after being born here, you moved to Montana. How long?
I did middle school, high school out there, and then I came back to Florida to go to college. So I went to FGCU.
Wow. Now, did your family come back or just you?
Just me.
Really?
Yeah, just me. They're just kind of
lone wolf.
I know.
Out here just
running free.
That's right. Making it happen though.
Exactly. But I mean, I still had like my grandparents and like aunts and uncles and like extended family down here.
Okay.
But my immediate family stayed in Montana.
Wow.
So yeah, they were just
home on the range and home here.
Exactly.
Okay. Got it. Friends, you got a good circle of friends. I've seen you out with your friends. You have a wonderful circle of friends.
I appreciate that.
Any shout outs to any friends you want to say hi to?
Oh my gosh, there's a lot of them. But like Bree, Jordan, Lauren, Molly, like I appreciate all of you guys very much.
Yeah, you got that strong circle of women that you surround yourself with, which is amazing. And I love to see that.
It's very important. Friends are part of your success.
Friends and family, man. The older I get and you're still young, the more I really value that core group of friends and my family. You know,
absolutely.
And how much time I get to spend with them.
It's so important. And it's tough on entrepreneurs, you know, like, you know how it is. You probably have missed so many things. I mean,
even when I'm present, I miss them sometimes.
Exactly. When you're there, sometimes you're not even there.
Exactly.
But the real ones in your life, they understand and they're not going anywhere.
That's right. That's right. All right. What about community? I know you're a big activist in our community. Share some of the things that you work with or work for and do here in Naples.
Oh man, I feel like there's a lot, but I mean, the main ones that I spend a lot of my time and energy on is like the Immokalee Foundation. I mentor part-time for this girl named Karen. She's amazing.
Okay.
Shout out to Karen.
Nice.
And it's just like amazing. I know you've been out there a bunch, but I always encourage people to go out to Immokalee because you learn so much and you meet the most amazing people. And
we sure do.
So that's one of my big projects right now is spending more time out there. And I mean, Naples Group also, I love. Shout out to Naples Group.
Naples Group, best networking group in Naples, Florida.
Really
Shout out to the Naples Group.
And you can like basically spend like most of your time, like it's a full-time job going to all these networking and things and everything. But honestly, like a lot of them are great, but Naples Group is just so unique.
I had to stop. I went to like 7 networking things a month.
It gets out of control.
And I honestly pulled back. I pulled back from all of them except for the Naples Group. Not that the other ones were bad, so to speak. It just was so time consuming.
Exactly.
And with business being a full-time job, clients and jobs and employees and those kind of things were, I felt were being robbed of my time for the networking events. And no offense to those groups, it's all the same people. It's really a small circle here, the people that do the networking thing. So unless there's something like specifically unique about a networking group that's different than the ones that I've been at, which I've been to all of them, I don't see the need to do more than a couple good ones,
I agree.
And dedicate your time, time. That's another thing I've learned as I gotten older is time is so important. It's so valuable.
It's more important than anything
It's the most important thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Money you can lose, get back, but time.
You cannot buy back time.
Exactly.
And you cannot get back time. So yes, super important. Personal. Any fun personal things going on new in Hannah's life?
I'm trying to think. Not really. I mean, I have my dog, George.
Oh, that was my next question.
Yes.
I was going to talk about George. George just celebrated a 1-year birthday, right? Okay, shout out to George. Happy birthday.
I appreciate that. I feel so silly because like I had dogs growing up and stuff, but like now that I'm older, like I had friends who had dogs and they're like, I have to take my dog to like brunch or, can my dog come? And I'm like, these people, like, do they care so much? Like it's just their dog. And now that I got George, I was like, oh my God, I completely get it. Like this guy's my best friend.
That's awesome. And I see you take George everywhere.
Yes, I take George everywhere.
What are your favorite places to take George?
Baker Park, if we want to do like a long stroll, like outside, more of a scenic thing, but probably seat to table.
Seat to table?
Yeah.
Inside?
Inside. Shout out to Alfie for letting
Where do you guys hang out?
Usually upstairs, like if there's like a band or something going on or like we're meeting friends or something or just like walking around. I mean, that was like a really good place for him to learn too, to be like more socialized and
so funny. So we just went through dog training.
Oh man.
With our trainer. I believe his name is Mike. My wife does that stuff. I'm not really the dog person in the family. I'm just too busy and not home a lot. But so they did this same thing. We hired a trainer. Trainer came to the house and then they took us to the farmer's market on Saturday at Vanderbilt, the shops, the Galleria.
Oh yeah.
And that was like, he had to learn to be around people, other dogs. And we did that a couple different times, which was great for me because I like the farmer's market. I'd get some snacks while they did the dog training and walk around and people watch because that's one of my favorite things to do. But then they said the ultimate test was seed to table. Now, I don't know. I don't think we ended up doing that one. My wife might have done that one. I'm not sure, but
you got to work up to seed to
table. You got
to
to train your dog well enough to go to seed to table. But if you can survive seed to table as a dog and a dog owner, that's a good accomplishment.
Absolutely. Yeah. It took a while, and he still has moments where like, and you know how it is, like in there, like you get like every walk of life, so many different kinds of people. So,
of course.
But for personal life, like George is kind of like the center of it right now, and just like friends and family. I really want to try to travel more in 2025. That's a goal of mine.
Yeah.
But as you know, too, as an entrepreneur, it's very hard because sometimes like I'll set it up to where I'm like, okay, like everyone can handle something like the business operations when I'm gone for maybe 5 days or something. It's all set up, and then I go and I end up working.
Yeah.
So it's tricky.
But you need to travel. This is my thing for 25. I'm not getting younger. I need to travel. I'm going to travel. The business is either going to make it or it's not. That has to be my mindset. Like it needs to be able to be, and it does kind of run on its own, but I need to be able to go travel. I don't have time. You know what I mean? Like I was thinking like with the age of my daughter and the stuff that I got going on, and like right now, like this is the time, because in a few years it's going to be like structure and sports things and traveling and clubs and
How old is she now?
She's 5.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
She's
so
just starting
I
to
got
get into all of that.
1 or 2 more years where we could probably do some cool traveling, and not affect her lifestyle.
And she still thinks that you're really cool.
She really.
So
yeah,
you
what do you
got
think
to
that's going
soak
to
that.
change?
I don't know, man. The teenage years, like she probably still will.
She
but-
probably will. How was your relationship with your pops
Oh, it's awesome. He's
Yeah.
like my best friend.
throughout teenage years? Or did that change?
It was a little rocky teenage years. It was a
Do you
little
mind
rocky.
if I ask how old you are?
Man, 29.
29.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next
So
month, 29.
All right. Okay.
So
So you're a little bit younger than me, but your experience through childhood with your father was cool, because I'm so interested in what that's going to look like with my daughter.
Oh,
and
yeah.
me. Like what's that really going to look like? What is our relationship going to be like? Because right now, like today, she cried when I was leaving for the gym. Like
that's how I was with my
it's
dad.
the weekend, and she knows we're going to hang out. I'm like, sweetie, all you got to do is just get through school. And then when you come home, it's the weekend. We're going to do crafts. We're going to do all the stuff that we do, but like, that's where we are. We're so tight right now, but I'm afraid one day she's going to break my heart and
She will
not want to be with daddy.
Well, and it's funny that you said that, because when I was on my way here, I was driving down on Trade Center Way, and my dad had an office here. And I remember I would just beg him. I'm like, please take me to work. I just want to go to work with you. Like, and the days, like maybe like couple times a month he would take me, and I'd just tag along for the day, and I thought that was the coolest thing, right? That was like the best day.
I look forward to those days.
Yes, exactly. But she'll be fine. Cool. You guys will be good.
Yeah, I think so. We've created a good bond from the time she was born until now, so I think that's important as she gets older.
She'll probably think you're trying to ruin her life and restrict her, and you're going to be.
She's already got attitude.
But then
already got
after,
attitude.
like when she goes to college, she's going to be heartbroken, and then after college, she's going to be like, "Oh my gosh, Dad was right."
Yeah, I need to go tell Dad thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, let's get into some questions about roofing. I'm going to hopefully get you to express some thought-provoking answers that will hopefully get our listeners to kind of understand what it is not only to be a roofer, but a roofer in Southwest Florida, because it's a little different here, knowing a few different roofers myself than it is in other places. And a lot of the roofers that I work with have businesses in other states. It's a pretty popular business. So first of all, your journey into roofing and what inspired you to become a roofer? So
to start off, I guess with my journey in roofing, I never really set out to be a roofer or even be in construction. I actually wanted to go to law school, like my grandpa and some of my family members, but I was working in law firms in college and stuff, and I was just like, this is just not for me. Like, it's very interesting, but I wasn't passionate about it.
Yeah.
And then when I was about to graduate college, COVID started, sparking up, and things were changing a lot, and all the law schools went virtual. And that was even another layer of reasoning that I didn't want to go. So at the time, I knew this guy, James. I don't know if you met him.
We did one time.
One time, I think. That's right. We went to breakfast together.
Yeah, we met one time.
That's right. Yeah. He was a really special guy in my life. Yeah. Very good, good
Sorry
guy.
For your loss.
I appreciate that. And I remember you were there for me a lot when that happened. So I appreciate that. But he was a structural engineer, and he was doing like reports for insurance companies and roofers and things like that. And I remember at the time I was finishing up an internship, and I was job hunting, but there were no jobs. Nothing was going on. Everyone was trapped in their houses. And he was like working with my significant other at the time. And he was just saying how there's like all these like holes in the roofing industry and misregulation. These guys are not doing things properly. And he's writing reports for that. He can't write reports for some of these guys because they're cutting corners, and the industry was just kind of falling apart. So he was getting into it, and I was just asking him questions about it. And he was like, I need someone to do like marketing. He was very like engineer brain.
Mindset,
He was like, I just don't really want to do that stuff. That's not my wheelhouse. but if you want to help me out, you know, come on board. And then we started doing that for a while, and we just realized we were such a good team.
Yeah.
So we partnered up.
You guys were. You
Yeah.
definitely were. And his legacy lives on today.
Exactly.
And everything that you guys do.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
And
He
so
has, his wife, Sarah's awesome. He has a beautiful daughter, Olivia. So
yeah,
he'll never be forgotten.
That's right. That's right. So how long have you had Vogel Roofing now in Naples?
This will be year 5.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in business, that's a big like milestone, the 5th year. First couple years is like complete chaos.
Yep.
And then you start to get a little bit comfortable. You start to kind of know what you're doing. The routine is kind of set. Any lessons that you've learned?
There's so many. Oh my gosh. I feel like the 5th year is really important too, because it's like, I don't know, I feel like every like year and a half to 2 years, it's almost like when you feel like you have it figured out, you get a new set of challenges, and it's a completely different like set of problems you're going through and facing. So it's just always changing. But I think not specifically, but as a whole, I think the most lessons I've learned, the most important, have been the most expensive. And
those expensive lessons
the
are
painful
great.
ones.
Yeah.
The painful
But
ones.
if you learn from them and you don't repeat them, they're worth every penny.
Exactly.
And that's been my experience.
Exactly.
I've had numerous of them. And you know what? They stink, and you trudge through them.
They
and
do.
You come out on the other side more experienced, more educated, hopefully more professional, and you learn that I don't want to make that mistake again. And
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like, kind of cheesy to say, but you come out stronger.
You do.
Every time.
Every time.
And it's not a waste. And to me, it's those lessons that hurt the pockets. It's not a waste of money, like long term. Like
if you don't repeat it.
If you don't repeat it.
If
Exactly.
you don't
That's
repeat
the important part.
It is the best value of purchase you could ever spend.
Exactly.
And it doesn't even necessarily need to be your fault to happen. I know there's things that, I went through in my first year of contracting, a fire suppression plug, breaking on a job.
Really?
And flooded 13 floors. And I couldn't control it. It happened at night. No one was there, so, and there's really been no way to prove or point the finger at who was at fault, but it's something that we all had to deal with.
Right.
It was something that could have been one of us, could have been somebody else, could it be the halogen light that was next to it? We don't know. And because we were there doing work, of course, we got the hit. We took the hit on it.
And as contractors, we do make mistakes all the time, but usually like without people fully understanding first or like exploring the situation, we're first on the chopping block to get blamed.
Exactly. But yeah, you know what it is. But we went through it, we fixed it, we repaired it, we got out of it, and here we are. We're still going strong.
And I feel like to add on that, another thing that I learned, especially this year, I mean, I don't know if you've been through this with your business, but your business like becomes another kid, essentially. Like that's your baby,
Oh, yeah.
And you want to protect it and you want to make it the best it can be. And I went through for a long time, just like overthinking and constantly trying to make every like client experience just absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't perfect, I would just be like distraught about it. If the customer found nails in her yard after we put the roof on or something, or like she got a flat tire.
Which is going to happen on every job.
Exactly. And it's going to happen. So like it took me so long to get out of that mindset. And, I needed to accept we are going to make mistakes, but it's the response. It's not the clients really don't, they care, but I don't think they care as much about the mistake as how you respond to it.
1,000%.
You know what I mean? And
Biggest
that took me
lesson
so
I've
long.
ever had is that they're going to happen. How do you address them? How do you fix them? And how do you make the client feel comfortable about it? And that's the end result.
And that's what we're trying to really implement on the team is like, okay, if one of the guys accidentally, is loading tile on the roof and cuts a screen or something, a screen enclosure, like we are documenting that and telling them first before they find out and have to call us. Right. Exactly. Like
that's the worst thing for me. When
you probably get it all the time, huh?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Especially now that the company has grown and I'm not in the field every day.
Right.
The only time my phone rings is when something has gone wrong.
Exactly.
And my guys didn't address it quick enough or properly enough so that the homeowner is reaching out to me.
Right.
So when my phone rings, it's always like, what is it today? but it is what it is. It's part of the business.
You have to, I feel like once I've changed my mindset and like I look down on my phone and I see that one homeowner and I just know it's going to be one of those calls.
And there's always those certain clients too. We have those in this
Yes.
industry, and it's just the nature of the beast. But there's those certain clients that no matter what you do, they seem to be frustrated or
Right.
upset with no matter what you do, even if the job goes perfectly.
Exactly. But now I look at it like, oh my gosh, Bill's calling. Like, let's see what's going on with Bill today. Like
Right.
how we can turn this experience around for him. You
And
know?
that is a good goal to have. If you know you have a problematic or a difficult client, I talked about this right before I came in here with the meeting, was basically how do we make this particular client happy or feel happy, even though we know it's been, a little bit difficult.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's common in our industry. So let's talk a little bit about Southwest Florida, hurricanes, Florida in general. How does the local climate in hurricane season affect roofing materials and maintenance? I mean, that not just hurricane, but like rain, sun, give me a little insight on the materials that we're using on these roofs.
So, the past few years, I think the trends have been changing a lot with what material customers down here want to use. I mean, obviously tile, that's number one. That's our specialty. That's what most of our clients want down here, especially in Naples. But then we have like the metal systems, the 5V, standing seam. This year we haven't had that as much. And then shingle. So those are the three systems that we use. But as far as weather, I mean, tile is going to be the most resilient, long-term, long-lasting. The maintenance is different, with cleaning. Some people pressure wash. They do different roof sealants and coatings for long-term maintenance. Shingles, you don't really have anything to maintain that. The longevity is not as long as,
Durability isn't as good
durability isn't as good. There's actually some people trying to completely get rid of shingles in Florida. I don't know if you've heard about that, but there's some groups going around trying to just...
The price is different though.
Right,
For the certain type of home and the certain type of client, I mean, that's what's affordable.
Exactly. And I mean, I see what some of these people are saying, but also like, I believe in access to these materials, like affordability.
Yeah,
like
of course.
homeowners should
have the right.
Yeah.
Should have the right.
They shouldn't be pressured into buying, standing seam system or, a high profile tile system and have to sweat about paying their bills. I just don't think that's right. So
you answered my next question, which was what type of roofing services do you offer? So we just heard shingle, tile, metal systems. All right.
We also do repairs too.
And you do repairs. Okay. How can you share your experience with helping clients prepare or recover from a major storm like a hurricane? What is your guys' response effort? What do you typically, is there a different system in place after a storm than there is for a regular, hey, my roof's getting old and I need to replace it? Like, how do you guys restructure during a time of need like that?
Yeah. So, we've really focused on like the aftermath and helping clients with, after the storm, but now we're really trying to emphasize like beforehand because preparation. Yes.
That's great.
Because
so that ties into one of my links. Check this link out in this video for hurricane preparation checklist. You'll be able to access that right here on YouTube. Shout out to Hannah for dropping that for me. Not on purpose.
Not on
planned.
purpose.
That's great.
I didn't see any of that.
Preparation was one of our things on the checklist. So important.
It's so important because it changes the outcome, from a homeowner who takes the time to go through that checklist.
Yeah.
Before hurricane season, months before, documentation is huge. I mean, I feel like that's a common thing. Anyone in our industry, whether it be like construction or insurance, lawyers, PAs, they're all going to say the same thing. Like documentation is so important. So we also offer like these comprehensive pre-hurricane inspections where we document the whole roof, the property.
So where could a potential client find you for that information? Like, what's your website? What's your email? What would you put out there for a client to get a pre-hurricane inspection from you guys?
Yeah, so you can go to vogelroofsouthwestflorida.com and then we have an inspection schedule. So you just click that.
Awesome. So it's
set
super
up a
easy.
time, super easy. Socials, we're just Facebook, Instagram, just Vogel Roofing.
Vogel Roofing on the socials and the website. If you want to schedule one of these pre-hurricane season inspections, that's great.
So that's very important. And then post-hurricane stuff. I mean, as far as like roof replacements. I mean, we have a lot of like community partners that help with, we can't handle the insurance side, but we do help point people in the right direction. You know, if it is hurricane damage and they're going through their insurance or things like that, or if they have interior damage, point them in the direction of someone like you.
That's right. Shout out
Becker
for
Home
Vogel Roofing.
Maintenance.
We're using you guys on a couple of our new projects coming up. Super excited about that.
Yes.
And we're going to be doing some fun promo videos. Maybe we'll shoot something on the roof here shortly when we start tearing off that next one.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I'm excited to do that. What do you advise homeowners like for cost, durability, and aesthetics? I know you just mentioned tile is super popular in Naples, and then metal. If you had to pick one, you know, which one would you prefer for the price? Now, is the price of metal a little bit more than tile, or is it? I've heard it's getting close to almost even these days.
With standing seam, yeah, it's pretty neck and neck in some situations. Okay. And depending on like the manufacturer and things like that. But my personal preference, I mean, I think that aesthetically the flat tile profiles,
it's a clean look,
very clean, very sharp.
Yeah, barrel
and like
tiles
the charcoal flat.
Yep.
Profile.
I've seen a lot of the barrel tiles come off and the flat tiles are going on. We're doing that on a couple right now, actually.
And also when you have like palm fronds or something like fall onto the roof, like a lot of the times they'll crack those tiles slightly. But with the barrel tiles, the very traditional like Capistrano ones, like the orange or red ones you see all over the place, those like you can notice those compromised tiles a lot easier than like a slate flat charcoal look. So
yeah, so to that last statement about pre-inspection, I just happened to purchase our home before hurricane season, so it was inspected.
Nice.
And then after the storm, we had like 50 loose tiles, and we have barrel tiles. So we had the ridge caps were damaged. We had a lot of loose tiles. And so because I had that report, and now we're filing our claim, of course, you know, we have proof that it was fine 3 months ago.
Oh, it makes all the difference.
And now it's not fine. So
exactly.
You know, there's the proof right there. But if I hadn't had that inspection, I wouldn't have that information. I would have to say, well, I mean, you take my word for it. And that's insurance companies don't like taking your word for it. They like documentation.
Yeah, exactly. Documentation is everything.
Okay, here. What are the most common roofing issues that you encounter here in Southwest Florida?
I would say, I mean, with leaks and things like that, like the flashing issues, counter flashing, things like that, water gets in very easily. But also, I feel like unlicensed contracting, like I feel like we're seeing a lot more.
Yeah, Joe the Home Pro was just on here a couple weeks ago and did the same thing, that there, even on the roofs, you're seeing a lot of areas where people are doing repairs, and it's like unlicensed contractors are going up there and doing repairs. And, you know, times when the economy's in a lull, or when your pocketbook's tight or whatever, you're getting someone to come up and do a repair that's not a qualified contractor. And that can definitely put your roof at risk.
Oh, yeah.
And your home at risk.
And it's sad because, I mean, to people like you, me, Joe, in the industry, it's like a no-brainer. Like, you shouldn't use someone unlicensed.
Yeah.
It's going to lead to so many problems.
And we even talk about, it's not even people that are tight either. It's people that got plenty of money that just want to save money.
True.
And very nice homes that are letting unlicensed people come in and do their work, and it causes problems.
I've seen that too. I mean, most of the time it does seem like it's the people who are really strapped, or they don't have insurance. That's a big one. They're not insured.
Makes sense, you know.
And or they got dropped from their insurance company or something, and they're just grabbing one of these like door knockers, you know, that come in and they're like, "We'll do your roof for this much money," and they don't pull any permits. And I don't know, it just kind of shows how like the desperation, you know, because of the insurance crisis and everything.
And how do you feel about when a storm happens and in our community, when the outside roofing companies come in to help?
I don't have a problem with it as long as they're experienced in Florida. That's the thing, is because, like, you know, there's a lot of people from Texas, like contractors and things like that. And, you know, you don't even have to have a license in Texas to be a roofer.
Yeah.
You know, so you have that component, and then roofing code. I mean, I'm sure you have some understanding of, like, you see it in your business. It's very extensive, you know, the nailing patterns, the underlayment you're using. You have to go through multiple inspections, you know. So it just becomes problematic. Like I don't mind when people helped, or especially when it's like a devastating event. You know, and I'm not greedy. It's not like a thing where I'm like, I want to, you know, sign up all these houses. It's like, I want people to be helped.
Right.
So,
and if you got every estimate you went on, you couldn't do the work anyway.
It's impossible.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm getting at is there's a lot of companies fly by night, come in, swoop in, take people's money.
Oh, it's terrible.
Do a shoddy job, and then they go back to, you know, wherever they're from, Alabama, Texas, you know, wherever.
Exactly.
And then we're coming back to then fix the problem.
And have to clean it up. Yeah. So those people, I mean, people from like northern Florida or things like that, like that's totally fine. You know, if you know, if you've done tile roofs, and because if you only do shingle and then you come down here and you're going to say, I'm going to do all tile, very different situation. But you know, I wish there was more regulation, or I don't know how we stop that, because it just every year I feel like it gets worse.
It does. It does, but it's a free market, you know. We have to be able to adapt and kind of maneuver through those times.
And that,
I feel like, you know, because we are such a tight community, and because we are in that same network, we've talked about this with multiple people on the podcast, but also just in our networking circle, is how do we lift each other up? How do we support each other? And how do we look out for our community? So when other good business owners are in this community dealing with certain clients or helping out in a time of need, like a hurricane or a storm, we need to look out for our local people. You know, I think we really need to push that. Hey, if you see, you know, somebody with Texas plates coming in doing crazy stuff, or you hear about it in your neighborhood, like report it, you know, and get that information out so that our local people have an opportunity to take care of these, you know, these clients. Oh,
absolutely. Yeah. And that's another thing that we started implementing is like with our social media and like our videos, like our educational videos, you know, even if you don't go with us, just go with someone who's reputable, licensed and local.
100%.
You know, so I think awareness is huge too.
What's the most rewarding thing about being a roofer?
The most rewarding thing about being a roofer. I think there's a few things, but the first thing that comes into mind is, you know, I'm in a group too called National Women in Roofing. And, you know, I discovered them like...
There's not a lot of you, I'm assuming.
We're a small group. Yeah. We're a small group. But also, even with the name, we're not just exclusive to women. I mean, the board is made up of women, but our events, you know, we do invite like guys in the industry and things like that. But with that, and then like the Immokalee Foundation and me like mentoring like some girls out there, I think it's really cool when people get excited about it, especially like younger girls, you know, college, high school age that are exploring the construction industry, even if it's not roofing in general. But I think that's really cool.
I'm seeing a lot more women on job sites.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there was always women in the painting field, but I'm seeing, I'm doing some new trusses on an addition right now. And I saw 3 women working, and I saw 3 women working in drywall this past year. So yeah, I'm definitely seeing an influx in women in our construction industry, which is amazing. It's awesome. Great. It's always been a man's world, and I think it's awesome that the women are coming into our industry and they're making an impact.
Exactly. So that I think is the number one. And then also, when I got into this industry, you know, with James, you know, his goal was like, let's kind of revolutionize roofing a little bit. Like, let's change the customer experience, because I feel like in the construction world, especially down here, roofers are just like the annoying or like the weird cousin of the family. Like the GCs kind of are just like, oh, these damn roofers and stuff. But our team wants to show clients, like, it doesn't have to be like a stressful, messy experience, like getting a new roof. Like, it's going to be stressful, but we want to give them a really good white glove experience. And
that's important.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's important. How often should a homeowner have their roof inspected? Is this like annual? Is it every 5 years?
Are you saying for like a comprehensive inspection? Like
you're the professional, so I want to get your opinion. If it's something that needs to be, and how often do they get them like cleaned or maintenance? Like, what are some of these preventative items that a client could possibly hear this and get information from?
Well, I would say, as far as the inspection question, I would say, I mean, with how things are with storms, like not even hurricanes, just like the storms we have in the summer and stuff, once before like storm season.
Yep.
In our rainy season, I think once a year at least.
Okay.
And make sure it's documented too.
All right.
I do it. And then another person that I work with a lot is Joe, the home pro, which I know you.
Yeah, we love Joe.
We love Joe. Yeah. So, and I know another thing, he does make it very affordable for homeowners to get those inspections.
What is the price average for a home inspection?
Average market
roof inspection, sorry.
For just the roof, I've seen it from $150 to $350.
Well, that's a small price to pay.
Yes.
When you're talking about a $40,000 to $80,000 because of size homes in Naples.
Yes.
Let's just say $40,000 to $80,000 is probably an average roof cost.
Right.
So $150 to $175 to have it properly documented and to just feel safe that your roof is in good shape.
Exactly. Yeah, like $150 to $275-ish is what I see.
It's not too bad.
Exactly. So if you can do that at least once a year before hurricane season, I think you're good.
Yeah. What do you see in the future with roofing? Any trends coming out? I know Tesla's got some like roof things coming up. Are you seeing anything new in the industry?
I think as far as new things in the industry, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, the shingles, I mean, people are not manufacturers. People are like not pushing and reps aren't pushing shingles anymore. It's going to be a lot more higher end, sleek tile profiles, different metal systems. And then the solar's huge. That's been a big thing for a few years, but I think they're trying to make that so it's more affordable,
have you done
more
one?
Accessible. No, I'm not certified for the solar. So you have to have like an electrical license. You have to have a few different.
Pretty complex.
Yeah, it's pretty complex.
I was talking to another roofer that's doing them, and it's I think he had done one or two locally, and they're expensive.
They're very expensive. And with materials and it's a longer game, installing that. So it's actually funny. One of these conferences, I saw like this shingle system, and they're trying to put like a robot on the roof to nail the shingles and everything.
Yeah.
And you know how everything with AI is going, but I'm like, I just feel like this is the construction. Can we just like leave?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a while before
I think so
AI
too.
and robots come into construction. I'm not saying they won't, because I do think that there's definitely going to be a huge push in our society for those things. I think you'll see them, in some of the service industries come first before you see construction. But eventually, I'm sure it will. I'm sure there'll be a day when you can just like draw something on your phone and your house will get printed for you.
It's crazy.
Show up one day.
I think it's going to come sooner in the sense of like streamlining the process with the homeowner.
Yeah.
Like the inspections, invoicing, like measurements and things like that. I think AI is going to have a presence sooner.
Oh, for sure. That kind of technology, I think, is kind of already making its way around.
Yeah. And the time to get it back, like these roofing reports and stuff, like we can pull measurements, but it usually takes a couple of hours. Like I think AI is going to come in and it's going to be.
You guys did that for one of ours. Like you asked for the address and then boom, it was like an aerial view thing, and you kind of showed me how much tile is going to be needed, what we're going to do, da, 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 da. So there's definitely some cool technology that's out there in that industry and in many other industries. Let's see. Any more roofing questions that I have? Anything that, like you were talking about, regulations, insurance, any of these things that are coming up that are affecting your industry? You touched on it a little bit. Do you want to elaborate on that?
I think, it's been a problem in the past, like since I started with insurance companies and the regulations and things like that. But I think just like it not being affordable for homeowners, that's a big problem for roofers too, because it's like, I want to help people as much as I can. But I mean, there comes a point where
cost is cost.
Exactly. Cost is cost. And that's a problem too with like supplies and everything like that. I mean, you're in your business too. The increase on materials is just insane.
Material
like every
labor.
Quarter. Yeah. I get those emails from my suppliers.
Big part of our bill is material and labor. Yeah.
It used to be, I feel like, once or twice a year, I got those emails with price hikes. And now it's like every quarter.
Yeah. They're coming all the time.
So it's hard. It's like everyone's trying to like go up, but it just bottoms out at a certain point.
Yeah.
But I think that's the biggest thing, and they're not insured. Who can pay that kind of money for even shingle roofs, It's
it's a big expense.
10, 15 grand. It's a lot of money.
Big expense.
So,
yeah. And we're lucky to live in a community that has a higher net worth than most places, but there's still very many people that live in our community that don't have the ability to buy a $50,000 roof,
right?
Or even a $25,000 roof and just pay cash.
Exactly.
That's so. I know in our field the same thing. Because we don't only just do custom construction, we also do when someone's shower leaks or there's an air conditioner line that breaks or something, and we go in and try to help repair, and we're dealing with adjusters and insurance, and they don't want to pay what it costs. And, it's a battle for some of these clients, and all they want to do is have their bathroom back, or all they want to do is get their kitchen back, and they don't want just half of it back, and so how do we work with the insurance companies and the clients and some of these people that don't have the ability to stroke a check for a brand new kitchen?
Exactly.
Or a brand new roof. So yeah, it's definitely a challenge. Definitely a challenge for us. So thank you for all those phenomenal roofing questions and answers, and help for our listeners. And I hope they were able to get good information about what you do, what's going on in our industry, what's popular, what works, maintenance, preventative, any fun stuff on the horizon for Hannah Vogel.
Fun stuff.
You getting married anytime soon?
No, I don't think so.
You mentioned traveling.
I'm still married to the business.
Married to the business, okay.
But traveling and...
George, we got George, of course.
George, of course. Yep. Also, this is kind of fun. I'm having a podcast.
What? This is news here.
Yes.
Do you have a studio to record it at?
I do, yeah.
Okay, look at you.
Yeah.
All right.
But I don't know. I came to this one. This is pretty cool, actually.
Shout out to Tim, Studio 239 Uncensored, man. This is a good one. So tell us more. You're going to do a podcast?
I'm going to do a podcast. It's going to focus around mental health with entrepreneurs.
Really?
Yes.
Now that is an interesting topic. Please delve into that a little bit more.
Well, basically, I just feel like, ever since I started the business, I think that's something that's kind of like missing with entrepreneurs.
Are you saying we're a little crazy?
I think you have to be a little crazy to start a business. You have to. It's like a requirement.
I love that. I think it really is. You have to be borderline crazy.
You have to
say, I'm going to step away from like a 9 to 5 or a steady paycheck and go on this journey for a belief that I have or a vision that I have, and then go all in on that.
Exactly. And you have to deal with people in your life telling you it's never going to work.
Oh, yeah.
You're crazy. You almost have to be delusional in a sense and just be like, it's going to work.
It's going to work.
And you have to maintain that. And then once you start it and then shit starts going wrong, you can't make payroll, all this stuff, you still have to maintain that. Even when everything's against you, you still have to be like,
that's right.
It's going to work. I'm going to make it.
Yeah. And we've all had those. Anyone that's been in business for any period of time understands those struggles.
Exactly.
And how you get over them on a daily basis.
And it's tricky because, I think there's a misconception with entrepreneurs. I think people think, and even people who are in business, they just see us and they're like, they have freedom of time and resources and all this money and, opportunity.
But it comes at a cost.
It comes at a cost.
It comes at a mental cost.
Yes.
It comes at a time cost.
Sacrifice.
It comes at a sacrifice of sometimes even physical. And the amount of stress is not good for the body. It's not good for the mind. It's not good for the, for the people around you sometimes.
It's not a glamorous life.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's just me, what I experience, but a lot of the times it's very lonely. You're dealing with a lot of problems that only you can figure out because it's your business. No one's going to come and save you.
People can be sympathetic, but they can't be empathetic if they haven't been in that pair of shoes.
Right.
Which is nice. So it'd be nice to have a circle of business owners, like-minded, who've gone through these struggles, who could share their experience on your podcast. And I would be super honored to be on that podcast.
Will you be my first guest?
I will be your first guest.
All right.
Let's do it. That's what I'm talking about. 2025 is going to be a big year for Vogel Roofing, for Hannah Vogel, and her new podcast. You have a title for this podcast?
I'm not going to reveal it yet.
Oh, you got to keep a little bit of that secret.
Got to keep a little mystery.
I like it. Well, thank you for coming. It was always a pleasure to sit and chat with you, but to be on the Built by Becker podcast, man, I'm just so happy that you were the first of 2025, and look forward to your podcast and what's coming for Vogel Roofing and Miss Hannah Vogel. Thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, Blake.
All right.